Ladies and gentlemen, I have to start, in fact, with something which I would like to bring to your attention if you did not know it yet. Our dear friend Romain Dansembourg passed away a week ago. We were, in fact, this afternoon at his funeral, and I especially mention him this evening because he was the one who brought Dunja and me to the Sweelinck collection by his concerts which he had. He has been very inspiring, and I have really very much, I have to say that we owe to him. He was the one who in 2005 organized here in the museum the first concert with Ronald Boudekamp here in the Blue Room, which was basically the start of our relation with the Sweelinck collection. The idea was at that time to bring the Sweelinck collection, to keep the Sweelinck collection together with the conservatory, and to get political and public support for that. Unfortunately, that did not happen, and luckily the Sweelinck collection has its own foundation, so it still survives. I would like to ask you for 1 minute of silence to remember this man. I don't think he would have minded that in the floor on top where you hear music of, by the way, indeed historic pianos being played. This is for the concourse which goes on tomorrow, and actually on square pianos for the square piano award, and he would probably laugh about the idea that it can be heard now. We go back a bit in history. The Sweelinck collection, just for those who didn't know it, I go very quickly through it. Rien Hasselaar, you see him there on the left. He brought together the collection. The collection opened up as the Sweelinck Museum in 1991, and in 2007 it was closed due to the fact that the conservatory moved. The primary aim of the collection is that it has an educational purpose and is related to the conservatory. There has been quite a few ideas. There's even a specific foundation created for that, which, by the way, also Romain Dansembourg was involved, to create a national music museum. Unfortunately, today's world is such that we don't think that this will happen in a very short time. Now there is the Sweelinck Museum, the foundation. As I said, we have today a very good relation with the conservatory. Why our museum? Our kernel period is the 18th century and the first half of the 19th century, which is basically the main period in which these instruments were developed. Today, when I wrote this, we had to do still with the ECN depot in Rijswijk. It doesn't exist any longer, and we had part of the collection at the atelier of Rien Hasselaar. In the meanwhile, quite a few things happened. The collection was moved to another storage in Beverwijk. There you see all the instruments together, and in the meantime, here you see, by the way, some of the pianos in situ. On the right, you see it on the left side. I go through it a bit quicker because of the time. This is, by the way, what our museum does, and as you see, our unique selling points today are the historic pianos. Am I standing too much in view of, maybe it's better like this. We tried to integrate the music in our house museum, and we think that the historic piano has to give his own story. You can only really understand what it's about when you are able to listen to the instrument. To give a bit of an overview how the situation is in the Netherlands, you see here the different collections which we have. Very rough overview. Most of you know them already, so I will go actually quite quick further. Our initial situation that we had to do with the Sweelinck collection of a collection of national importance. It's also, for at least half of the collection, is on the list. So we have 80 historic instruments, about 40 are in the procedure of being listed as national heritage. To be exact, that is de wet behoud cultureel erfgoed. Primary aim is educational, therefore we have to do with performances. It is a bit indifferent which is quite different from the municipal museum, the gemeentemuseum in The Hague, where they put, in Dutch we say, a cheese cover on top of it. I didn't really know what this is in English, but I think that you know what is meant. Our collection, yes, you do not touch it. Our collection is linked to the Conservatory of Amsterdam. However, we have also a good relation with the Conservatory in The Hague. There's no real national museum for musical instruments in the Netherlands. There is one museum, however, which could be called, which gives an overview, and there from the director and his wife are sitting here. It's in Eelde. It is the Museum Vosbergen, but it's a relatively small museum. I get back to the next museum very quickly and in a moment. We had an empty, more or less empty treasury. We had no funding. There was actually, as we felt it, no real interest in a museum of old pianos. The concert public for old music approach of the classics is not very much public for it. It's growing though. And I have to say that quite a few of the instruments are in a deplorable state. That is because if you put the instruments for 7 years or more in a storage, they don't get very much better. Oh, I'm going a bit too fast. Oh. No. But there are some chances. As I said, there's a growing interest in pianoforte performances. There is demand for cozy little concert podia. There are castles and country estates which are looking for events. There's one which a storage of conservatory practice rooms. That is what we provided. I'll give you later on a photograph of it. And we have to do with proactive young musicians. So what is more logic to put these together and use the historic houses, the estates and castles, which are the natural habitat for the pianoforte, use their music rooms again to make the instrument, to take them out of storage so that people can not only view them but also listen to them in their context, which means that you do not only look to the instrument but you see the whole context, also the social context around it, which Annegien, when she started, correctly said. These instruments are more than alone connected with music. They are also very much connected with the story of history. Oops. Oh. No. Yeah. Very quickly, the characteristic of the historic pianofortes. I don't linger with all of them.
Minutes.
Sorry? 5 minutes. Then we go quickly on. This is what we, although this is the largest of the museum with the largest collection of pianofortes, the National Music Museum in South Dakota. However, we feel that we didn't want something like this, and or like this. It's also a very important collection, but you see a bit, when we walked there in that collection, we lingered there for I think 1.5 to 2 hours to look at all the instruments. However, I think there was one other visitor who came in, quickly walked through, and was probably looking for something, another room, but you see, it's... so our idea is to develop a network with a modern museum which manages the collection, develops expertise, with a digital presentation, and to give objects on loan to partner museum, provide the partner museums with the know-how, and suggest visitors to visit these partner museums, and also have the agenda of the concert performances on it. Now, this is obviously very much a theoretical and situation which would be optimal. In reality, we expect, and now we come also to the Rijksmuseum, where we are very much happy that not only there is a new music room there, but also there's a new curator. And in fact, he is the only curator at the moment in the Netherlands of this standing. Now also the Municipal Museum in The Hague doesn't have any curator any longer. So we are very happy with this happened to us. He will speak himself. And here we see also a two-tiered format, that we collaborate with the Rijksmuseum, and that again we work with the smaller network with the smaller museums. We go a bit further. Now, this is our strategy. Again, I explained it more or less, so I'll go quickly over this. Here you see a few where we moved to the new place. This is the new place, the new Dependance in Postenkerk. It has by now about 30 instruments standing there. There are 2 practice rooms. In future there will be even 3 practice rooms for conservatory students. We are at the moment in the process of making an inventory, where we also hope very much to collaborate with the Rijksmuseum. If we go on, maybe something to say about our experience which we have with placing instruments on loan to other places. One of the main problems is basically the control of climatization. And the other thing is that we found that most of the historic places who are interested in taking an instrument have actually no idea of what the instrument is. So we have to provide them with a lot of knowledge, and basically we also have to provide them with musicians. As you know, these instruments you do not want to be played on by someone who is not a fact pianist. So it's very important that we really control what is happening with these instruments. Yeah, actually, thought this today. One of the other things which we came up also during our conference in the Nordic countries, the SimSim conference, where probably Jurn will also linger about a bit, is that we have to create social awareness and appreciation for these instruments. If you put them all in a storage, well, you understand. So the way we would like to do is by placing them in historic places, but especially also to have them played on. Because then, and I only have to repeat that, which my predecessor as chairman of the Sweelinck collection always said, the only way you can have these instruments back in the public eye is if they can plead for themselves by making them, well, in fact, that they are being performed on. Locations, so these are the locations which we have provided now. Kasteel Duivenvoorde we started with 2 years ago, Huis Schouwenburg, Kasteel Heesweiper, Buitenplaats Olderhof and Leiduin. The last one, there will be one place this month. And here are several where we are busy with, quite a few more in fact. Future. There are some endangered collections abroad. We had contact with the Club of Amsterdam. Maybe you can say something about it. The cult collection, which already for, well, the lady who is in fact the chairman of the foundation, her husband made the collection, is now 99, if I'm not mistaken. We have no idea what is going to happen with it then. And the Finchcock's Museum, also there, it's a collection with an elderly couple who's doing very well, but we do not know if it will open up again next summer. But there is hope. New, interesting performing and historic instruments. If you listen to Radio 4, you'll hear that about twice, maybe even thrice a day nowadays, you hear performance on an historic piano, at least on a copy of a fortepiano. Asia and China. There's a new museum in Guangzhou, if I'm not mistaken, if I say it correct. And I understand that it's completely for musical instruments. If you know that in China the amount of people playing piano is growing extremely fast, I have to say there is some hope from that side that, strangely enough, from the Asiatic side, our history is being preserved. I also mention that here in the conservatory in Amsterdam, the majority of conservatory students interested in these instruments are in fact coming from Asia. And new initiatives. So you see it's not only going down, you also see things going up. I mentioned the Rijksmuseum, yes I know, already. So, future, Rijksmuseum, put it on top of it. Then the collaboration between museums and private collections, to my opinion, also very important there where the collector is growing older and doesn't know what to do with his collection in the future. Cooperation with universities. We have the collection of the Nederlands Muziekcentrum, which is now taken up by the bijzondere collecties, special collections of the University of Amsterdam, and the music collection of the University of the Conservatory of Utrecht, which has been taken up by the University Museum of Utrecht. Cross-border networks. The fact that we where in Stockholm, with the conference on the Nordic countries, is one example of it. But I myself have been traveling in the past few years a lot to other museums, and there is interest, and I think that is very important. It's also therefore here the Club of Amsterdam we see this. Digitalization, internet, huge chance there. MIMO, I think it works now, well, it was created 5 years ago. It's now really started to work. Rijksmuseum is at the moment starting to put on instruments, very important. New cross-disciplinary initiative by young musicians. When you look to our festival, and
30 seconds.
Yeah, we have the last 2 days. These were actually very much towards new compositions, new forms, how you can work with these instruments. Michael can possibly say also something about it before his concert. And the growing public were interested in music and their context. Historic soundscapes, you saw this spring that the Amsterdam Museum provided an historic soundscape, and we think that this combination with historic houses is very important for that. Again, I have to stress this, extremely important for the public, awareness for living, tangible and intangible heritage. It's the combination which we have here. And this is my last thing, this beauty we added to the collection last year. It's a mayor, it's the first enlarged mayor, if our expert van Sweelinck is, I have to believe, and he pressed me that we should take this one in the collection. We are very happy with it. And the question, do we need more squares? I only say yes. In the last week we received, was not a square, it was a grand piano, another donation of an historic grand piano. And this way we hope that we can support that these instruments survive for next generation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.